Welcome. Today we're going to take a look at how to create our 3D printed magnet using Autodesk Inventor. Previously to having Inventor open on my screen, I spent some time on the internet and I searched up a few images that I would like to use to create my 3D magnets with. I have those saved to my H drive as well. Hopefully you have those saved. If not, spend some time getting some images saved to your H drive that you would like to use for your magnet. Now once we're on Inventor, we're going to come up to the orange file in the top left hand corner of the screen and go to New. We're going to select standard.ipt and click Create. Coming up to our ribbon bar on the left hand side, we're going to click the drawing icon with the green plus mark. And as always, we're going to choose our XY plane and select that when it turns red. It's always good practice to start with a full view, so I'm going to click Front in my World View Cube. And that kind of zooms us into a full view. Next, one of the parameters that we have for our drawing for our 3D printed magnet is we need to stay within a 2" by 2" boundary. So we're going to come up to our rectangle tool in our toolbar at the ribbon area. We're going to click and we're going to start at our origin. Remember, our origin is when you have your yellow dot from your cursor and yellow dot from your origin meet up. It turns into a green dot. We're going to click, stretch out a rectangle to the upper right hand quadrant. My horizontal dimension is going to be 2. Press the Tab key on the keyboard. My vertical dimension is 2. Press the 2 on the keyboard and then press Enter as well. Press the Escape key to let go of the rectangle tool. And we're going to click Front in our World View Cube. Right now I have my 2" by 2" square on here using my rectangle tool. Next, this is a new one for us. We're going to come up to our ribbon bar to the Insert section of our ribbon bar and we're going to find the tool Image. We're going to select on Image. We want to make sure that this pull down menu is going to our H drive. First initial last name 000. If it doesn't automatically come up there, click on this pull down menu and you're going all the way down to the bottom. First initial last name 000. I'm going to choose my heart logo. You're going to choose whatever logo you have saved into your H drive and click Open. Once I have that, my image is attached to my cursor. I'm going to click to place it. I still have another image attached to my cursor, so I'm going to press the Escape key on the keyboard to let go of that one. And now I need to size this heart image in order to fit onto my 2" by 2" rectangle. I'm going to do that by selecting the lower right hand corner of my image. When I get the red dot down here, I'm going to click. I'm going to stretch this image a little bigger. Okay. Once I have it a little bit bigger, notice that I want to take and pull this totally horizontal as I'm scaling it. If I go at an angle, it's going to put the graphic at an angle. If that's what you want, that's okay. I'm just showing you that it happens that way. Okay, so I have it to the right size. Now I'm going to click on my graphic and bring it into the center of my rectangle shape. Okay. Next, this 2" by 2" rectangle is just a guide for me in order to take and have my size of my graphic. So now I'm going to take and I'm going to click and press Delete on my keyboard to delete the rectangle going around. Once again, I'm going to click, press Delete on the keyboard. I can also right click on one of the lines and select Delete. Either way is fine. Okay, now that I have just my image that's sized properly on here, we're going to start out using a new tool from our ribbon bar. We're going to go up to the top and we're going to go underneath the line tool and I'm going to click the line options button down here and I'm going to choose Spline Controlled Vertex, this tool right here. Now starting in my image, I want to start in a reasonable spot, which would be like an interior corner or an exterior corner. Okay, I wouldn't start on the outside of a curve, but I guess you could start wherever you would like. So I'm going to start on the inside corner here. I'm going to click and I'm going to come up and click, 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 going around the outside of my contour for my image all the way down to the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to take and I'm going to click, click, and you can see this little glyph that pops up here. Okay, if this glyph is kind of getting in the way, we're going to take and grab that little handle and move it up and out of the way. And we're going to click again. It's always going to come back. It's just got to be patient and make sure that you move it out of the way. Okay. And after a while, it's going to seem not to be in the way much at all because you're getting used to moving it out of the way. And then where you're clicking for your graphic, it doesn't really matter because it's not in the way. So we're only going to move it if it gets in the way. Once we get down towards the bottom and we get to our first point where we got to turn a sharp corner, for example down here at the bottom of this graphic, there are two buttons that are here. The green check mark is OK and enter. That means that it's going to click OK and put your spline tool away. The plus mark is we apply it, but we keep our spline tool active. So we want to take and we want to continue our spline, so we're going to click the apply button to keep that spline tool active attached to my cursor. I need to pick up where I left off because I'm turning an outside corner. I'm going to get my green dot on the end of that shape. I'm going to click, and then I'm going to continue on with my spline as well. You can see that that little glyph keeps popping up, but as of right now it's not getting in my way, so I don't need to spend time moving it. I'm going to come around the outside shape of my image. Now it's starting to get back in the way again, so I'm going to move it out. And again, I'm going to have to move it out. When I get towards the center part of my shape again, I'm going to take and, one more to go here, find my green dot where I started. Make sure you're on a green dot so we have a closed loop for our image, and click to select it. Now is when I'm going to click that green check mark for OK. You can see that created my spline. My spline's going around half on each side from where I continued it, and my cursor is back to the pick tool. I'm not holding the spline tool anymore. Okay. Next, we're going to click on our image, and you can either right click and go to delete, or you can click on the image and press delete on the keyboard. Either way is fine. We're going to get rid of that image now and see what we have. So now we have our shape going around using the spline tool. That looks great. Let's go up to the green check mark in our ribbon bar, finish sketch, and click home in our world view cube to zoom all. Now we're going to take and extrude this shape. We're going to click extrude, and we want to extrude in the flip direction. You see this orange arrow, we want that to flip around going the other way, so we're going to flop it around. And then I'm going to take my distance area here, and I'm going to enter in a distance for the thickness of that magnet at 0.125. Okay, that's an 1/8 inch. And then select OK. So we're looking good with our shape so far. Take a look at it from the front view. Looks pretty good. And go back home again. Next, we're going to take and we're going to put some text on the front here. In order to do that, we're going to take a 2D sketch once again, the drawing with the green plus mark icon. And we're going to place that on the front of our graphic that we just created. And click front in our world view cube. Then we're going to come up to the ribbon bar in the create section. We're going to select our text tool. And I'm going to click. I'm going to change my text size here. I'm going to start out with 0.24 as from the pull down menu. You can also make it bold, italic. You can change the font type here. I'm going to leave mine at Tahoma. And I'm going to type TechEd rules and click OK. Whoops, I can see that this is kind of large for what I'm doing here. So I'm going to take and I'm going to edit this again because the whole thing in one line does not fit on my shape. So I'm going to press the escape key, get my pick tool back, and then I'm going to get my cursor onto the text. When it turns red, I'm going to click to select it. And I'm going to take and I'm going to put in enter instead of a space after rules. And that's going to put it onto another line for me. And let's see what happens with that. I also probably want to center this justified. So I'm going to highlight my text and come up here to the top in my format, and I'm going to select the center justification. That's going to make it centered in my middle of my shape, and click OK. Using my cursor, I'm going to click and drag this onto my part. That looks pretty good. It could go a little bit bigger, so I'm going to edit it one more time. I'm going to highlight my text, and I'm going to change this to 0.3. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, TechEd rules. There you go. Might bump it up just a touch. Okay, and that looks great. Let's green check mark, finish sketch. So as you're taking a look at editing your text, you might have to increase the size, decrease the size, change the justification, those sort of things in order to make that text fit on your part. Next, we need to make this come out as we're going to do that. We're going to use a new tool for us again. We're going to use the emboss tool right here. And we're going to have it get embossed 0.1 so you can see the depth right here. And now I need to select what I want to emboss, and that's going to be my text. So with my profile arrow selected, I'm going to choose my text. You can tell when it highlights red. I want to have emboss chosen, which is emboss from face. This one here, you can see the picture where it shows that it's raising up. And then click OK. And there it is. My text is embossed in there, and that looks great. Next, what we need to do is get a spot for our magnet to get inserted into the back of our part. So I'm going to take, and that's going to go into the back. I'm going to go to my World View Cube. I'm going to take and click the top right hand corner so I can see the word back in my World View Cube. And I'm going to click on the back in my World View Cube. And now I'm ready for my 2D sketch. I'm going to take and click, place a 2D sketch on the back of my part. And the magnets are circle in shape, so we're going to use our circle tool. I'm going to click and drag out a circle, and the diameter of our circle is going to be 0.33 for the diameter. Press enter on the keyboard. I'm going to press the escape key to let go of my circle tool. You can see my circle tool is still selected because it's light blue. Now I have my pick tool back, and now I'm going to grab the center of my circle, and I'm going to put this in the center of my shape. Okay, so you can see I have a lot of material going around the outside of this part. Then I'm going to green check mark, finish sketch. I'm going to click one of the top corners in my World View Cube so that I can still see the back of my part, and I can still see my circle that we're going to extrude. Now we're going to take and extrude this. My circle should automatically highlight. I'm going to flip to the flip direction so that it's cutting into the part. I'm going to change my distance to 0.08. 0.08 is the amount that I'm going to be extruding and cutting away, and I want that in the flip direction, and I want it to be the cut output right here. Once I have that done, select OK. And now I have the magnet spot in the back where that's going to get glued in. Go back home again. I have my text on the front. I have my shape traced out. This looks great. Let's go up to the orange file, and let's go down to Save As. We're going to put this into our H drive, and we're going to call this Your Last Name, and then 3D Printed Magnet. Okay, so 3D Printed Magnet. Once you have that typed in and you have it going to your H drive, first initial last name 000, and then click Save. Now we also need this in a format that the 3D printer is going to read. So we're going to go back up to the top again to the orange file. We're going to slide down to Export and go over on the flyout menu to CAD format. Let me do that one more time for you. We're going to go to File, slide down to Export, CAD format, and then when this menu comes up, make sure you're into your H drive. We want to change our save type as. We're going to change this to an STL, second from the bottom. That's the file that the 3D printer is going to read. And then your file name we're leaving the same. In our H drive, file name's the same, change to an FTL, STL, and click Save. Awesome. You ready to log out of your computer, go over by the computer that's connected to the 3D printer, and print your part. Congratulations.